Hi everyone again. This short video is to set up the context between and differences between positioning strategy, messaging strategy, and copywriting. So before moving forward with today's topics, right? And with these module topics, which basically is messaging and narrative and enablement. I will go through those differences also, so you can, we can stay in the same page. So let's start with positioning strategy, what that means, and what's the difference between that and messaging and copywriting. Let me move this right here. So positioning strategy, the level is strategic. Basically, the executors of positioning strategy are CEOs, founders, and CMOs. They own the positioning strategy because it's basically what tells what the business must do and how to focus the different business activities from distribution channels to product roadmap. Everything must be based on your positioning strategy. And the goal of positioning strategy is to find your product's sweet spot to win more clients, grow faster, short and long term. Positioning is about finding that sweet spot that is going to make you different, that is going to make you relevant to your client, and that is going to make you credible in the eyes of the market. Basically, positioning answers to the why you should communicate what you are going to communicate to the world, to the market, through your distribution channels. So basically, this is the why, and the key asset is the positioning platform and the positioning statement. I will go through that now in a bit. Then we have messaging, which is the next step. So once you have the positioning, you can work on the messaging. Messaging is still an strategic level, and the goal is to reflect your positioning in your communications to the market. Basically, this is the what you are going to communicate to the market. And the executors, depending on the organization, are CMOs and product marketing. Your key asset is the messaging platform. So that messaging platform, more or less, is what we have been creating or today or in yesterday's session, if you still have not seen it, in today's session. And the messaging platform has, your sales pitch, your elevator pitch, your strategic narrative, the key positioning messages, both in terms of product tangibles and brand intangibles. And then you take it from there and you move to copywriting. So copywriting is the more tactical level. And the goal is to add simplicity and clarity to your key messages. Echo your brand personality, tone, and voice. So all the way up to messaging, there was no brand voice, tone, personality. Here we are adding that personality and the tone. This is basically how are you going to communicate. So positioning strategy is why you should communicate what you're going to communicate. The messaging is what is it that you're going to communicate based on positioning strategy, and copywriting is how are you going to communicate the messages, are variations of your messages. And the key assets are marketing and sales pitches, web page, landing pages, ads, collaterals. This is the tactical side of all of the previous. Now I want to show you this in a way that it's more clear for you, hopefully, right? And this is the workbook, the complementary workbook that you have also in this course. And these are the mental models that we follow at Breakdown Innovation Strategy. So the first step is about positioning. So when you are positioning, you want to know what market are you entering, if it's an early market, is this a mainstream market, because they have different motivations to buy, so you need different key positioning messages and position your solution in a different way. Remember, we've been scoring and thinking about different positioning possibilities in terms of use cases, segments that we can target with a given technology or a given product, target customers, and so on. So you score through them, which is basically segmentation and targeting. That's a basic part of positioning strategy. Now, after this, right? You are scouting all the positioning possibilities, and then you have the segments to target, and then you focus, and then you know how are you going to position in terms of who are we targeting, what problem are we solving, what's our target audience, what are our key differentiators, and so on. So basically that translates into a positioning platform, and your positioning platform is kind of, uh, 6 lines positioning strategy or business strategy that tells you what's the direction of your business or your product in the upcoming years. And it tells the market category you're in, the target market you're going after, the ideal customer profile, the roles, job titles, and so on. What is the main problem you're solving? What is the sense of urgency of your clients to buy from you now? Who are your top competitors or compensating behaviors? What are your key differentiators and your credibility statements? Those statements are going to drive credibility because you have experience, use cases, you have patents, whatever you have to drive credibility. Now, that's positioning strategy. Okay, then we move into messaging, and we have to translate all of that into communications, to communicate to the market, to convince them to buy from us. What is that? Well, that is a long description or a strategic narrative about your story, is your storytelling, right? Is your elevator pitch, is your value proposition, and are your key positioning messages. The key positioning messages are messaging either at a product level, which is about features, product capabilities, or either at a brand level, about company level, which is about brand intangibles. For example, the experience you have in the field, the years you've been in the industry, how many use cases have you served within this industry, or the problem that you solve, how many patents do you have, who are your partners and allies. All of that are brand intangibles that drive credibility and lower the risk perception. So either at a product level or either at a brand level, you need key positioning messages that make you different and drive credibility towards your product or brand. And those are individual messages that you are going to communicate scattered through different distribution channels, like, for example, in a press release, or in a marketing asset, or in a concrete landing page, or when you do a podcast, etc., etc., etc. Right. So those are your messages. Now switching again. So what's in today's bucket? So this module 3, is about messaging, and in messaging we have sub-buckets. We have the narrative, which is the overarching story that embodies your product and company. The key messages, as said, they are individual messages about your product or brand that you will communicate across your distribution channels. And then enablement. Enablement is the most tactical level, and it's basically your sales and marketing assets. So this is the introduction. I wanted to give you all to be in the same page before we move into applying artificial intelligence to all of this, with the templates in Notion and with the ChatGPT conversations and so on. Thank you.